Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the LOS Champs Season 1 Semifinals. We just watched a really exciting match between the RLC Mid-Lads and the NOLA Flight Orion Nebula. We saw the RLC Mid-Lads survive the reverse sweep. They survived in game number 6, and they move on to the finals there for 2v2 East Tier 6 playoffs. Now for this final match, we've got the number 1 seed LatinSeven Crimson taking on another NOLA Flight squad, the number 4 seed Big Dawgz here in 2v2 East Tier 7. Both these teams actually face off against each other during the regular season, and so it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams have grown throughout the season. Last time they faced off in week 2, so it's been a good while since they played each other. But LatinSeven Crimson won that series in a sweep 3-0. So what could we expect here, Pasco? Do you think we're going to see the Big Dawgz be able to show improvement, counter back, and be able to take it to LatinSeven here throughout this best of 7 series?
Yeah, it's hard to say because with that... Oh, wrong bracket. I was looking at the wrong bracket. It's hard to say because both of these teams looking so strong in the playoffs overall. Both, like you said, both getting here, I think we said beforehand, with a bye. So both these teams playing really well in the postseason. And then you wonder what changed between week number 2 and now, if anything. Did the teams, did they improve? Did they not improve? Are they practicing a lot? Are they playing a lot? Did they have a roster change, perhaps? That any of those things could come up in a series, especially in a best of 7. We mentioned it in the first series, these best of 7s, they tend to start off a little slower. They tend to start off with that control. They tend to start off with a little more reluctance to really go all out. And as the series goes on, it opens up. And as the season has gone on, has LatinSeven Crimson, have they opened up? Have the Big Dawgz opened up overall in their gameplay and their style? Has it changed since week 2? It's kind of hard to say because it's been, 6 or 7 weeks since they've played now.
Yeah, it's been a good while, but we're ready to get things rolling. So the rematch starts now. LatinSeven has my man Tony and Acid Orchid over on the NOLA Flight Big Dawgz side. They have Jimmy and Chosen. So we're going to see the Big Dawgz try and get an early goal, not able to sneak that one through, but here comes Acid the other way with a half flip. Going to set himself up for the goal. The post makes the stop, though, and now Jimmy going to try and go the other way, but Tony intercepts, keeping the pressure on here on the Big Dawgz side.
Man, so far this game, we are 30 seconds in, and we already have like a shot or 2 per team on net. Jimmy's got another one, but this one's saved away by Acid. Around the corner, Tony, the rare miss, pushes it across. Jimmy's up. Extra touch from Tony, but this ball awkwardly in the midfield and misses all around. Again, maybe a little hesitancy. You don't want to dive in right away on the touch. But so far, they've kept him out of the net. They've had some shots, but the ball's not scored yet. We are a minute into game number 1. And Jimmy going the other way.
So both teams getting out really aggressively, really quick here. The pace much, much faster than game 1 of our last series. Chosen gets the solo play, goes for the flick. Not going to get it. Touch here from Orchid is a bit too far. Jimmy will jump on and punish that. So the first goal goes to the side of the NOLA Flight Big Dawgz. So a quick 1-0 start to them.
Yeah, this is the stuff that trickles out in front of the net. And I like to say over on my stream, we say he got to play janitor in the midfield and clean up. Because that ball, effectively the net was open. If you look at the replay, both defenders were pretty much off the ground. And that shot, he could have picked anywhere he wanted to shoot that ball, and he made it work. Jimmy's got the first one. It's a 1-0 lead. That one's on target as well. Acid has to make the stop. Chosen couldn't quite make it. Acid back to the middle.
Oh, was looking for the pass, and Jimmy steps in to intercept. So making now 2 goals for Jimmy and a 2-0 start here for the NOLA Flight squad.
Yeah, I think Acid thought Tony was coming off the back line with him, and then when that popped out and Tony wasn't there, the panic set in, and Jimmy said, all I need is that little bottom left corner, and I'm going to make this work. And he did. Chosen up to the left corner. They're up 2-0. Swing through. My man Tony up to Acid on the wall. Does Acid have it? No. Tony there to help him this time. That's the same idea. This time he was there to help. Jimmy's going to push it out to the corner, and Acid's going to grab the boost and turn around to play some defense.
Good shot here from Acid, sneaks it past Tony. Not Tony. That was Chosen, he snuck it past. And so the first goal here for LatinSeven. It is a beautiful snipe from Acid. Right on the near post.
Yeah, he grabbed that mid boost, turned around to keep presence in the play, while he let Tony, I think, was recovering, trying to, at least starting to recover or rotate back on the other side. And yeah, beautiful read. Put it on target with enough gas to put it in the net. Tony wants another one. He's going to throw it wide, though. Jimmy grabs the boost, gets removed for all of his hard work. Tony's he going to try to remove the second. The bump is there. Does he have the control? He does. Acid off the bump. Able to control the play. Tony doing a beautiful job disrupting, I think, both defenders. He kind of got in Jimmy's way, too, on the way through. And there we go, a 2-2 game with 2:46 remaining. And the big dog's able to bring it back and tie it up. Or I'm sorry, LatinSeven able to tie it up here with 2:40 remaining.
Yeah, and that play there shows how well the communication is for the LatinSeven squad, because trying to set up a play like that is not easy, because you never know if the teammate's going to go for either, say, a bump play or try and go for a passing opportunity, but they set that up to perfection, and now we'll see how Nolaflight can respond, because they got up to a quick 2-0 start. A miss there from Chosen. Jimmy picks the ball up, though. Gets the flick, is going to try and get a second touch, and it's going to be just off the post. Acid will send that back into the corner. So as we pass halfway here in game one, still tied 2 apiece, but both sides pushing real hard to try and see if they can get that game-leading goal.
Yeah, clutch stop there from Acid on the post. Chosen, he's off the wall with no boost, though. He's got to make it look like he has boost, because you got to play that game. Oh, he had the shot behind, and he couldn't quite slot that corner. It was simply too tight. The big fake from Jimmy, inadvertent fake. Chosen with a shot off the post. Third defender present again. He always is, isn't he?
Absolutely. Sometimes it feels very unfair with the 3-2 advantage, but hey, it is what it is. Tony's going to take that ball from the back wall, trying to get it out of their zone, but right now, Nolaflight has just pinned LatinSeven inside their zone, doing a really good job of controlling that midfield line, not giving them an opportunity to stretch out this play. A little bit of patience here from both sides, trying to figure out where they want to go with the ball. Acid's going to get that touch. Tony's going to be able to set up a shot. The bounce shot is a heater and almost gets the half volley to go through.
Yeah, it's a nice touch, and that's all about positioning. You can't make the touch you need there. You can't get the corner of your car. You can't get the corner and the timing if you don't have the right spot, the right approach. And that was beautiful, really well done. I should say, I guess, better defense in a way. But Jimmy on the turn. There's only one defender. Does he get it? That time he does. And back in the lead is the big Dawgz, as Jimmy drops one just inside that bottom left post. Beautiful pass from that far wall. And in it goes. They're chatting an awful lot in the quick chat. Are they not? I wonder if they're not in comms. That would be interesting. Or
that
they
could
just
always be a tactic too. You never know.
They're just trolling.
It was a very good play from both players, Jimmy and Chosen. I mean, the pass is not an easy one to make. But then, never mind. I was going to say, they got that game-leading goal, but now we're back to a tie as LatinSeven just keeps some pressure up. Quick turn there from Acid, able to find the back of the net with a little bit of assistance from Jimmy.
Yeah, that quick turn, though, has helped Acid a couple times now. His last goal, where he ripped it off the dome, I forget who it was, he ripped it off their lid, and it was that same quick turn, that same quick drift power slide turn, and it put him in a beautiful place to put that right down off Jimmy's nose, and there wasn't much Jimmy could do about it, because once you leave the ground and you're falling, you are falling. And Jimmy says, I can make the ball fall right into the net. He gets to clean up another one. He gets played the janitor 2 times off of Acid's miss underneath Tony. And Jimmy finds that bottom left corner. He likes that bottom left corner, I think, right now.
Yeah, he's got really good precision when it comes to placing his shots. We've seen him get some really well-placed shots on net, putting it just far enough out of reach. That one, able to just snipe that one. Again, bottom left, like you said. So now we see Nolaflight with the lead again. Now 10 seconds remaining. Tony takes control, pops it around. Can't get it past Jimmy. Pops again. Here comes Acid. Look out, though. They're both on the same side of the ball. Off the back wall. Jimmy doesn't get up. Oh, kid. Almost puts that in. Had the right idea. Just can't get that one in the back of the net. Shoots it a bit wide. And the Nolaflight Big Dawgz take game one. So that's already an improvement over what it was the last time these two faced off, because it was a sweep for LatinSeven. So we see Nolaflight get a win here. So you got to take that where you can. That's a great start to the series.
Yeah, Big Dawgz have to feel good about that. I think anytime you come back or you come back from, I don't say come back in the game, but come back like from a loss earlier in the season, and then you play that same team. You know how good they are. You know they've beat you. You know they can beat you, especially when they've beat you in a sweep like they did in the first matchup back in week 2. You have those thoughts. Oh shoot, they creamed us last time. Are we going to be able to do this? What do we have to do to adjust? And apparently what they have to do to adjust is throw 8 shots on target, and Chosen just keep lobbing them in front of the net. Let Jimmy clean up that bottom left corner.
Yeah, it's one thing that is very impressive to see. Jimmy was a phenomenal scorer. We also saw Acid doing a really good job of scoring. So those two kind of the point men when it comes to putting in the ball in the back of the net possibly. Chosen, you see 3 assists. So that's one thing that they got going for them over on the NOLA Flight side. A very good team identity that you have that passer, that scorer. And we'll see how the LatinSeven side respond to that, because now they see, hey, Jimmy's the guy that's going to put the ball in the back of the net. We need to try and isolate him a little bit more. Don't give him those quick, hard shot opportunities. Same thing on the other side, though. We saw Acid come in, capitalize on a couple spots here and there. So you got to try and keep him from having those opportunities. Some of it comes down to clears, trying to keep them away from the center of the field. Some of it comes down to, instead of just smashing the ball, just take a controlled touch. It varies based on the situation, but you have to be able to read that to try and see where that second man is. Like right there, Jimmy's there to capitalize on the shot. It's right in the middle of the field, but he misses it just barely from that top 90.
Yeah, that's hard, I think, in any sense. But yeah, sometimes you just got to stop Acid being able to turn on a dime and put the ball on target off your lid. Tony trying to do the same. This time Acid not quick enough. But yeah, right now, Big Dawgz here have definitely, and there's, oh, he can't quite clean it up. I thought he had an opportunity. I was going to say he was going to shoot it. Chosen couldn't quite get it again, just off the corner. Jimmy with an attempt earlier, and Chosen there with an attempt. Both of those attempts, unfortunately unsuccessful, but my man Tony says, I can be successful. Acid drops one off the backboard, gets out of the way. And my man Tony just quick enough. Jimmy almost got there. He actually did touch the ball, puts it off the, I think he got a post and the crossbar. This one goes in top right. We've got a 1-0 lead for Latin Crimson. And just like when you've played a team in a sweep and you've lost, I think when you've played a team and you've swept them and you've won, you know, there's a different sort of mental problem there. There's a different sort of stress, or a different sort of questioning, or a different sort of self-consciousness that can arise. And then now that you lose a game, that can be strong. So we're going to see, I want to see if LatinSeven can like do what they have to do to sort of like play the game, or if Acid's going to drop another one as he fakes the aerial and drops one underneath Jimmy on the goal line.
Yeah, it was a good play, and you can even see there at the beginning of the replay, Tony goes for a fake demo on Jimmy. He sees Jimmy retreat back to the net, so he decides to bail out of that. But it was just enough space that it allowed Acid to be able to set up that play. So good move there from Acid, trying to see if they can extend this to a 3-goal lead, but Jimmy gets into the net just in time to make that save. Pass here is Jimmy's going to take it instead, so here comes the solo play. Bounce dribble, goes for the shot, bangs that one back wall, but it sets up for Chosen. Chosen can't get the ball down. Tony will clear that one off the corner.
Classic twos play. First man throws one at the backboard, but it looks like a shot. You have to go. You have to play defense. And your teammates following up in the back to make that one happen. Good communication between Tony and Acid to leave that ball. Jimmy removed.
No.
Chosen removed. Gotta love the double demo.
Full team white, but they're not able to do anything with it, as Tony takes both NOLA flight players out of the game. They're going to try and send it downfield. Chosen a bit too far. He should have chosen to stay back a little bit further to be able to make that play a little bit easier. Touch by Jimmy, goes right to Acid again, but Acid turns, can't get that one on target. Another missed opportunity. He's had a couple of those where it comes right into the front of the net. Oh, a big miss from Tony. Chosen now heading downfield. It's going to be a race to the ball. Chosen into the corner. It's going to roll along the back wall. Acid, no boost here. Very risky play. Is Tony going to be able to clear this one, at least buy themselves a little bit of time, as Acid has to get back in net.
Oh, a really nice job by Jimmy to not simply hit that right away. That's exactly what Acid wanted you to do. He wanted to catch that in rhythm with momentum. And Jimmy gave it one little extra bounce, caught it off the half volley, and just kind of lobbed it up to the far side, which put it out of reach. I think if he shoots that right away, it gets blocked, and it's a nice decision. Like you were saying just a second ago, control the first touch. Don't just boom it away necessarily. and there it served them well. They got another one. Chosen with an opportunity, but this time not going to happen. Jimmy wanted a big old dunk into the net, but that's not going to happen. Chosen with a touch, but that just keeps it on the blue side. He's just going to chill here in the corner for a minute as Tony goes up high for it.
Oh, the double commit coming out from the NOLA Flight squad. Sorry, the LatinSeven squad. And a pass from Chosen. Jimmy not there. Post makes the stop there. So that third man coming in to clutch once again. And so far, we are seeing a lot of really good pressure coming out from the NOLA Flight squad. But you can see Jimmy's playing as that first man up. Chosen plays as that second man. And they have to be very careful because sometimes if they just get a big enough boot from LatinSeven, it's going to get through the defense. But some misses from the NOLA Flight squad leads to Tony getting his first goal of the night.
Yeah, Tony got a
second goal of the night.
Tony got an easy look at this one, though. It looked like Jimmy was out, like, really far away there for a second. It looked like he was AFK for a second, but he was maybe just so far away because he's obviously in the game now. He was so far away from the play. My man Tony ended up with the 2v1 for a little while. Him and Acid were stuck with Chosen as the only defender. And now they're together. Jimmy dangerously driving sort of close, or throwing the ball dangerously close to the net, I should say. Wanted an easy one, but not going to happen this time. Has to play some defense instead. Now going the other way. Good control on the ball, looking for a teammate. Doubles back once. Not quite what he wanted to do, and this one's going to come back the other way off the blue side.
Yeah, it's hard when you try to go for a passing play like that, and killing the momentum of the ball basically is giving it away there, as we saw. Acid able to take advantage of it. Demo there by Tony takes Jimmy out of the place. Chosen playing solo, and he gets punished for that one, taken out as well. And so both defenders from NOLA Flight having to get all the way back there on the spawns. And what a 50 from Tony, just kills the ball. The second one goes off the sidewall, so it's going to force him to have to reset the offense just a little bit. Shot from Acid is wide as Jimmy has to avoid the demo. And the pressure coming out real strong from LatinSeven as they're trying to tie the series one apiece.
Yeah, they really want this one back. I think you can tell. Nice shot from Acid. Again, the quick turn, the quick challenge, and Acid just able to simply read these defensive touches. I think that one, Jimmy touches that a little strong, it gets a little far away, and Acid able to turn on the gas and change speeds quickly to challenge that immediately. It's not even a 50 because Jimmy's touch a little too strong, put it out in front of him. And that gave him a look at the net, and it was just enough. 4-1 with just seconds remaining now in game number 2. LatinSeven Crimson sweeping the match in week 2. Not the case here, but game 2 looking real strong here in the series.
Yeah, with time ticking down, we're going to be tied 1 apiece going to game number 3. Tony hits that one towards the middle of the field, and that is going to be time here in game 2. And one thing to take note of there, you see on the final screen, Tony almost got to Executioner. So if you don't know what Executioner is, if you're not a guy who likes to go around demoing people like myself, it's when you get 7 demos in a game. He managed to get 5. He was very, very close to that. But that's something to keep an eye on as we go throughout this series, because the physical play, it was things years ago and it's kind of faded. Sometimes you see it now and again, but it's not as prevalent as it used to be. So sometimes when teams throw out that physical play where they're going for bumps or demos and things like that, teams don't know how to counter it other than just avoiding it. There's ways to be able to use positioning and everything to take care of it, but that's one thing now you have to keep your head on a swivel because you don't know where Tony's going to be at this point.
I want to point out, too, that on LatinSeven right there, my man Tony, he had 544 points, and Acid also had 544 points. It doesn't happen often. I just wanted to point it out in case anybody didn't notice, because it's kind of fun. It's a fun little Rocket League thing that doesn't happen that often. Here we go into the next one. Game underway, kickoff number 1 in game number 3. Chosen, I hope that ping that we saw in the lobby was not consistent throughout the game. I don't think it was. A little lobby ping, though. Acid gets beat once, does not get beat twice, kind of has the 50. My man Tony, no touch, though, missed the bounce, and Jimmy brought one all the way across. Chosen has switched cars. Looks like he's brought the Dominus in.
Oh, big shot from Tony, just wide of the net. Hits the post. So Jimmy has to breathe a sigh of relief there as he gets a little bit of a breather. It's going to be Acid going to picking this one up in his own zone and going to follow up the second touch. Good control here. Jimmy in net defending is able to step up and clear that one out. Big touch. Sorry, I had a hiccup there. He follows up with a second, almost far enough for Acid to not make the save, but he stretches out that Fennec just a bit more to be able to stop that one. We're scoreless through the first minute.
And I wonder if the Dominus is and the fake aerial from Jimmy. Acid did it to Jimmy in the last one, I believe, or the game before maybe. Well, it was one of them. And this time Jimmy says, I can lob it up and then put it underneath you in the net. So a 1-0 lead at almost the 1 minute mark. Big Dawgz up. The next kickoff underway. Acid with a clean touch off the kickoff. Jimmy not there. This one's down over the middle. Can Tony get there? No chance as Jimmy pushes it across. And now Jimmy going to casually just give him the dozer off the back line, and that one's not going to work. Chosen up. Chosen no touch.
And there was the fake demo play we saw from Tony. Look, he takes his 50, dives right at Chosen. Now, Chosen did have to make a play on that ball, but he had to make a decision earlier rather than later, because if he waited any longer, Tony was taking him out of the play.
He really was. Tony was full send, and it worked. It worked. All he has to do is, he doesn't even need to get Chosen to miss necessarily. He just has to get Chosen to panic. And the panic is, it almost doesn't matter, because either you miss the save or your save's not that great. And that's enough. Tony doesn't, he doesn't need the goal. He just needs to disrupt the play. And that sort of awareness to know when that's appropriate. Because in twos, you'll see a lot of people too. They'll go for the demo like at the wrong time. They'll go for the bump at the wrong time, and then you leave an open net. My man Tony, obviously there at the right time, chasing the goalie off, putting Chosen in a bit of no man's land. But Chosen trying to bring it back, missed the touch. And I don't know if the Dominus will be the right choice or not.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We haven't seen too many solo plays from Chosen, but he's been able to set himself up in good opportunities. Just needs to capitalize on them. Tony sends that one across in a very interesting spot as it almost hits the crossbar and in. Chosen steps up for that 50. Has the opportunity. The backflip comes out from Acid, but the shot is wide. Jimmy steps in from a missed touch and is able to capitalize on some missed plays on the defensive side of LatinSeven. So back out in front is the Nola Flight Big Dawgz.
Yeah, Acid there with the missed touch on that turn. And that was that drift that was so dangerous before. That one just not quite there. Jimmy gets demoed on the touch, but he got to the ball first, and that's what counted. They got a 2-1 lead. We're halfway through game number 3. It is a 1-1 series. And my man Tony has a whole dribble. This one popped out back into the middle.
Good setup from Tony. Shot from Acid is not going to be on target. And now Chosen able to run with it. He's got Jimmy way across the field. Can he get it to him? Back wall. Good read, though, coming out from Acid, able to save that play. And now they're heading down the other way. He doesn't have much on that as he sends it to the side wall. Team bump, though, allows Acid to pick the ball back up here along the wall. Good pinch off. Wow, back wall. Can't break that one to Tony. And now we're headed off the other direction. So seeing a good mix-up of approaches from the LatinSeven side, trying to see if they can break the Nola Flight defense in different ways.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's a little more variety here. I feel like the first series, we saw a lot of the same play over and over and over again. And it looks like here they're a little more of a mix. Acid's turn to play janitor in the midfield. He gets to clean up the mess left behind. The 50 goes up, down. Jimmy, I think he gets Goomba stomped in the middle there. Did Tony come down on his head, preventing any sort of defensive follow-up? Acid left with a wide open look at the net, and we've got 1:44 remaining here in game 3, and this will give somebody a series lead. Beautiful shot on target. That is out of reach, and Acid's got it.
That was a great snipe from the sidewall from Orchid right off the kickoff. Thought he might have been looking for Tony for the pass, but just puts that one far enough ahead of Chosen. You can't reach it unless you read that one before the shot's taken. That's a hard thing to do. Great snipe from Acid, and that gives them the lead here with 1.5 minutes remaining. And what could be a very crucial game 3, because like you said, winner takes the series lead 2-1, and that helps to set up maybe 2 straight wins to take it at 5. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think either team at this point would feel really nice. It would feel really good to win anything 4-1. I think at this point in the series, if you can win 4-1, you're feeling pretty good. Acid Oh, he had the look and he threw it up high. Did he do it on purpose to have a little fun, or did he just miss the shot? We'll never know. And this ball's just going to float around in the orange box. An unfortunate touchback for the big dogs, and my man Tony going to roll up and just drop in an easy one. Probably the easiest one of the series, as that ball just gracefully drifted towards the ground, and my man Tony drops it in the middle of the net.
Yeah, way to be aware of what's going on the play instead of rotating all the way back. Oh my! A little bit of a breeze in midfield as both sides missing the kickoff. And so it's going to be Nola Flight that picks it up on the second man. Trying to send it midfield. Jimmy gonna wait back. Good call as Acid sends that one back to midfield. Battling over possession. Tony's gonna try and take it. Passing it up to Orchid, but Jimmy there. Now he has to try and break it to Tony. Chosen's going to take this off the sidewall and see if they can at least get a goal on the board. If they can get one, it'll help and try and get it just a little bit closer in the dying seconds. Jimmy pops that one up. 30 seconds now remaining. Still trying to find a shot opportunity here for Nola Flight. Just can't seem to get that look.
Yeah, the desperation sitting in as the seconds tick away. Again, 15 seconds. It's not too few. You could win in 15 seconds. Not if you're getting bumped by my man Tony while you're trying to set up your dribble play or your bounce dribble shot. And then Chosen pushes it across, doesn't have the angle for the shot with seconds remaining. This one's gonna end right there, and LatinSeven have the dub in game 3. Nola Flight, big dogs, bringing a little offense, bringing some pressure. They're bringing their game. I like what I'm seeing. It's a good series. We've got 2-1 now, but LatinSeven just able to squeak this one out. Nicely done.
Yeah, and a lot of what we saw was just capitalizing on mistakes. We saw LatinSeven, I believe 2 of their goals came from that. But I still love seeing Tony. He is a physical menace out there.
Love
throwing out, if you think of hockey roles, he's the enforcer, not giving anybody a chance to really get set up. He's there threatening any second. We saw several plays where he faked bumps, faked demos, and that's a mental side of the game. I mean, some players really get frustrated by the physical side of the game. So
for sure.
I'm loving it from Tony, and I want to see more of that. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. One of my favorite parts of the game. I have teammates that play like that, and it's when they're in that mode and everything's a bump. Every touch ends in like a bump as they leave. Love it, because it opens up so much of the field, and it makes the game. In a way, it makes the game fun, right? Because you're laughing when they get the demo. You're having a good time because there's that freeness to the game. When there's one less player on the field, you know, it's fun. It's open. You get to do more. You get to try more. And an unfortunate read from Chosen leaves the kickoff goal available. And Acid Orchid off Orchid off the kickoff, able to throw this bottom left corner. He found Jimmy's spot. You know what, Jimmy? That's a nice spot. I think I'm going to borrow it. 1-0 for LatinSeven.
A quick start for LatinSeven. They're up 2-1 on the series, and they're looking to extend it to 3-1 with a game win here. Tony tries to send this one back wall. Instead, gets a little bit of a weak bouncer. Jimmy, good idea to take control here, but maybe a little too long as Tony steps on up to make that play. Chosen looks for the boom. Gets a little bit of a roller downfield. Acid. He's got Tony. Pops it up for him. It's actually going to fall off his own touch. Gets it off of Jimmy. Nice solo play to set up Chosen. Chosen bomb downfield. It's there. Is it going to be on target? Yes, it is. So 1-1. A quick tie-up here in the first minute.
Well, there's maybe the dominance. Maybe he took a game to adjust, but Chosen, knowing it was in, having a little fun, it looks like. I love the goal, though, because, again, a nice, precise touch from that far away. If you can build that, if you can have that setup, if you can have that kind of rotation consistency with you and your teammate. Wait, what happened? Jimmy put it over to the corner.
That's an interesting call there. He had the open net, it looked like. Maybe trying to see if he could fake Acid out. But it's going to be still 1-1 as they make it 2-1 now. Is Tony able to jump in? He punishes on the slow play in front of the Nola Flight net. You see Jimmy goes for the control touch, doesn't quite get it. Chosen sees Tony going, and he decides he's going to try to defend, but just a little too late on that decision.
Yeah, I feel for Jimmy there. I'm not sure exactly what looked like that happened there. I know a couple of times when I've been really stressed, I know literally my controller has slipped out of my hands, or like I've bumbled it. Oh, he almost saves it, but Acid lobs the changeup right down the middle. Beautiful touch from Tony that it doesn't boom across. And it gives him a
pass.
big old slow one.
Tony gets a great touch out to Acid. And you saw Jimmy, he was trying to get back as quick as he could, but that touch, that play just set up so fast. Nothing he was able to do with it. Jimmy trying to see if they can do the same exact thing on the other end, but Acid gets back in time. He goes for control touch as he heads downfield, goes for one more, can't sneak that one behind the defenders. Jimmy tries to head downfield. And it almost feels like they're anticipating that slow play, that slow outbreak from Jimmy, and they're jumping on it a good bit from the LatinSeven side. So interesting to see that's where their goals are kind of coming from, is where they're capitalizing on those transition plays. They're cutting it off before it even gets out of the zone, and it's throwing off the NOLA Flight defense.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think their play styles in the sense that they're both trying to sort of wait for that moment to punish is similar. Both teams are doing that. They're both playing. I don't want to say it seems odd, but it seems maybe odd that they're being so consistent about it. Nice touch from Tony. Is it going to trickle in? It is. That's a 4-1 lead for LatinSeven Crimson. They're showing us why they had this sweep in week 2. But both teams doing this right here. That's an open net. The double commit between Jimmy and Chosen. They were both out of the box. They were both forward on the field. And you just wait for the ball to come out. And my man Tony says, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll wait for that to fall down. We'll just bop it in nice and easy. And I think both teams have been doing a really nice job at that. It just looks like right now LatinSeven has been a little more consistent, obviously a little more successful. Tony throwing it off the third man crossbar.
They took the crossbar twice there.
They sure did.
they had the opportunity to extend the lead to 5-1, but now here comes Jimmy. Jimmy shot. It's a rocket from midfield. That's going to make it a 2-goal game here as we approach halftime in game number 4.
Yeah, really nice touch. I mean, Jimmy notices he's got the open net. He needs the juice, though. You got to hit that one hard enough. I think a lot of times, when you're playing casually, you hit that ball and it kind of just goes towards the net. Jimmy had to hit that hard to beat both those defenders because both those defenders were there. And he did. But my man Tony says, I can do that from the middle of the field. Let me get one past both defenders. I think my man Tony had an open net.
Yeah, it almost looked like maybe we were going for a fake kickoff perhaps, but one thing we are seeing is that one of the players is having a little bit of connection issue, so we'll have to see if we might be getting a new server in between games, even maybe seeing if it is the Rocket League side of things. But another goal coming off the kickoff. Jimmy can't quite get up in time. Acid gets a free net, so 6-2 here for LatinSeven. And the series started off so well for NOLA Flight. They were in it. They took game 1. Game 2 was really close. They had opportunities. And now here in game 4, it has just been a full takeover for LatinSeven, scoring goal after goal. Now 7-2 the score. And we're almost at a Barca of an 8-2.
Yeah, my man Tony, another wide open net. It's going to be easy. I think Chosen's miss there in the corner might be due to whatever connection problem he might be having. But 7-2, I mean, they're going to feel good about it. I think at this point, there's not much you can do about the connection issue. Unfortunately, we don't have the sort of RLCS pro admin tools to reset games and series and clocks and scores and things like that. So unfortunately, Jimmy will have to play this one out. I don't know. Occasionally it looks like Chosen is good, but then it's hard to tell because you just never know. Jimmy's got to look. Jimmy's got one. Does he have enough juice to finish it? He doesn't.
That was such a good play. He set it up to perfection, beat both defenders. And you can see a little bit of praise being given here by LatinSeven. They see Chosen in net. They know his thing's going crazy, and they allow them to get a little bit of a chance for Jimmy to get back to be able to defend. But now we cross a minute and a half remaining. Barring a miracle, it looks like LatinSeven is going to take match point here at 3-1.
Sure does.
And, I mean, going into game number 5, going into game number 5, you see what's happening here on field. It's really unfortunate here for the NOLA Flight squad because, again, they were being very competitive throughout the first 2-3 games. And now all of a sudden it just seems like things have fallen apart as we get the Barca score from Acid. But looking at the NOLA Flight squad, what do you think they need to do in order to kind of get their heads back in this game? Because this is a really defeating loss here to go down 3-1.
Well, I think if it's a server issue and you get a new server, I think you let it go. I think you try to live with it. You try to. That's a nice second touch from Tony. But I think you try to. You kind of. I don't want to sound dismissive, right? But you got to just move on. You have to play the next game because it's a best of 7. If you're talking in a best of 3 or a best of 5, and it's this tight and it's one game, you know what I mean? But you know you can score, you know you can win. You got one win in the series already. You're not being swept like the last time. I think you try not to worry about it. You try to move on. Now, what do they do as a team to adjust as far as like play style goes? It's hard to say because if the problems aren't your play style, the problems are literally just some other mechanical technical problem. Then it might not matter because your playstyle is not really the issue. Nice save, Jimmy, off both posts, and the dribble the other way. Is he going to give him a good look at the net? Acid thought about it, but 9-2 sounds good enough. And 15 seconds are going to click away here. I think they might just let it trickle out.
Yeah, so it seems like we might get a quick break here in between, maybe a reset of servers, but we'll see what the ruling is. But phenomenal save from Jimmy on that, and using the post to his advantage that time to be able to make the save. 1 second remaining. They're going to maybe look for that 10th goal, unable to hit double digits. So LatinSeven Crimson is going to take match point here. Again, this semifinals, so if they're able to close out this series, we will have them in the finals for Tier 7 2v2 East. We are going to take a quick moment to reset the server, so it's going to be a little bit longer in between games 4 and 5. So just bear with us here. Where you're going to be remaking that server here in a second. But like you said, I agree with you. Looking forward into game number 6 here. Sorry, it's game 6, not game 5. NOLA Flight. That one, yeah, it sucks what happened. You went down, you lost 9-2. It's a big loss, but you can't really chalk it up to your play.
Right.
There's only so much you can do when you have one player that's there for half the game and the other half of the game, he's teleporting around the map. There's not much you can do. You just have to do the best you can.
As I said, you kind of have to let it go. You got to move on. But
I think that's the strategy. You go through, you just reset. This is a perfect opportunity. Maybe find a song, if you listen to music that really clicks with you, whatever you need to do to just reset your head. But we'll see what's going to happen. I mean, they might be switching cars. It gives them an opportunity to refresh, maybe get a new paint. Sometimes it's the mental side of things of that. But we'll see how game number 6 plays out now that the LatinSeven squad has a 6. Oh, sorry, my numbers are all mixed up here. A 3-1 lead.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Does Chosen switch cars again? Does he switch back? Does he go to a third car? Does he go to something different? He was the first one I noticed that changed at least, so he's why I use him as the example. But if it's something like that, because it's not the play style necessarily. If it's a connection problem, if it's something like that, then you have to learn how to move on. And I think that's part of playing anything competitively, whether it's esports, regular sports, etc. You have to learn how to move on from losing. I like to say that esports players actually have a benefit in a way because we play video games, and when we play video games, when you play Rocket League for 3 hours, you play like a bunch of matches. You play 30 matches if you play for a few hours. You play handfuls and handfuls of matches. You get used to losing, and it's a good skill to have. It's a good skill to have, to lose and move on. You know what I mean? Because it's not necessarily your fault. Sometimes the other team's just better. Sometimes it's a connection problem, but you have to learn that skill of learning how to move on, try again. And right here, they're going to try again because we're into the next one.
So here we go. Everything should be reset. Looks like Chosen's ping is chosen to behave here for game number 5. And so we're getting back into things. Jimmy's going to try and start the scoring off here. Can't get that ball to roll into the back of the net. Acid heading down the other way. Good challenge from Chosen. And yes, we do see a car change. He's back into the Octane. So we'll see if the Octane is going to be what he needs to get things back up the way he wants to be here in Game 5. Good defensive play by Jimmy. Pass out to Chosen. Chosen is just wide of the net, but a miss might set up Jimmy to come in. But Acid sends that off to the sidewall.
Yeah, there's the predictive ability. Oh, he almost had it himself, but it wasn't going to be enough for the solo play. That's that prediction. I think that every player in a game this fast, you have to be able to predict what your opponent's going to be at least somewhat. And right there, you mispredict, you don't get the shot. This one's looking good though. Chosen's ping staying down. I keep checking it just to be sure. So far, it looks to be really good, but the pace of this game is already higher. The pace of this game is already faster. The teams have taken some shots. Tony on the ball. Chosen's coming off the back line. It's already a better game. And I think that's good for the series as a whole. Big Dawgz definitely have the ability to win. They definitely are going to have the opportunity. Nice save from Jimmy as my man Tony comes out of nowhere. And that save came out of even less of nowhere. Like, it was even tighter. I didn't even see the save coming. And that one is all the way there. We're still 0-0, a minute and a half in. I think that might be the longest start of the game without a goal.
It's been a long one.
Real close.
But going back to, like, you talk about the pace being much faster. I mean, think about it, though. NOLA Flight, this is desperation for them. It's do or die.
Yeah.
Your chance of the finals, if you lose this game, is gone. You're settling for the consolation match, that third place match. So you want to do everything you can, but even though you're playing fast, doesn't mean you can't play smart, as positioning has been very key here for NOLA Flight. The defense has come through very clutch. Tony comes in with a huge bump, gets Jimmy off the ball. Jimmy demos Acid wide open the other way. If Chosen can get there, Tony is able to beat them there to the ball. And here comes Jimmy off the back wall. He has boost. Goes for the double. Oh, that is
beautiful play from Jimmy. What a play.
That bump helped him somehow to set up that play. What a follow-up from Jimmy. And just don't let your dreams be dreams. He saw that and he went for it.
Yeah, that is, oh, that's great. I mean, Jimmy just on the ball, using the bump to maintain some momentum. Momentum in Rocket League, as we all know as players, if you play the game, you know this. If you're not a player and you happen to be watching, the momentum in this game is so important that even on a bump play, like even on a bump like that where you're like the victim, you know, maintaining the momentum of a bump, even if you're going in sort of the wrong direction, is sort of just enough. And Jimmy just able to do it. He's able to do it. Nobody else could stop him. And now with some space, Jimmy might be able to do it again. He's got one, and he can't get it past Tony. Tony playing a strong defensive series.
It was great defense from Tony. Really interesting to see Acid give Jimmy all that space. You know at this point in the series what Jimmy can do. He's shown a lot of his mechanical ability. So giving him that kind of space is a very dangerous thing. He had phenomenal control on that air dribble. And thankfully, the defense was set up just right for Tony to be able to make that save. And now they're back on the defensive end again. This time, Tony somehow gets the speed to make that save on Jimmy, on Chosen's shot. And they keep this at a 1-goal game. But time is starting to run out for that game-tying goal. And there it is from Acid.
There it is. And you almost saw it coming, because as soon as you see someone make a save backwards, Jimmy had to backflip into that ball. He had to half flip into the ball, and while he backflipped okay and he controlled himself, once somebody starts flipping backwards, you're on your heels, and at that point, Acid able to take advantage, punish that touch out into the midfield, tying up the game. And yeah, and it goes to show how much trust the players have in each other when Acid jumps up and says, nah, you can, I'm just going to sit here, you can save that one. And let somebody with a decent air dribble on the ball kind of just take the ball and do what they want and just be like, yeah, my teammates got it, it's cool, it's fine, don't worry about it, we're all good. And the trust is great, and it just goes to show you how much they play together and how well they, you know, they communicate and they talk, and that's why they're, I mean, that's why they're where they're at in the playoffs, right?
Oh,
both of these teams.
Risky spot, Chosen misses the ball, had the opportunity to seal this one away, or at least get the game leading shot, but can't get that one to go through. Now ball back down to the NOLA Flight zone, 30 seconds remaining. It is basically golden goal at this point. What a bump from Chosen. Tony steps up though with it. Jimmy on defense. Jimmy waits. He's able to take that one to the corner. Acid gets bumped off the play by Chosen. Good play. Jimmy's going to elect for the solo play. Can't get that one past Tony. Tony is aggressive in the midfield. And here comes Chosen side wall. dying seconds. The countdown is on. Ball up in the air. Jimmy gets in there. Double commit. He gets taken out of play. Ball still alive. Chosen on it. Shot is on target, but it hits the corner. We're headed to overtime here in Game 5.
Oh, you love to see it in overtime, but man, it would have been so much fun to see those go in with 0 seconds on the clock. Chosen, I'm kind of liking the car choice. I think it's good that he switched back. I'm liking the way he plays in the Octane better. I don't know if that's superstition or if that's, oh no!
And that's the series, ladies and gentlemen. What a game that was here, game number 5. Jimmy just misreads where he's at on the field with post and ends up missing right alongside the post. But phenomenal play from both sides, and gotta give props to the NOLA Flight Squad after having that really rough game 4. Bouncing back the way they did is absolutely incredible. So props to them, especially Chosen. I mean, that's a tough thing to have to deal with. Very frustrating, especially if you have that connection issue. And he came out, and that was the best he's played all series long. But LatinSeven is going to be victorious here, 4-1 in the series, and they are going to advance to the 2v2 East Tier 7 Finals.
Yeah, and shout out to that big double tap from Jimmy. That was beautiful. We love to see it. I just saw it in the background replay on the other screen. He had that big read off the backboard. It was nice to see. But congratulations to LatinSeven making it into the finals. They will be going up against either Venomous Strike or the Magician's Alliance. I'm not sure if that game's been played yet. I don't think it has been. There's no results online. So it'll be interesting to see who LatinSeven Crimson. They got the 2 and the 3 seed in the opposite semifinal match, which I suppose in a way you like to see it. You want the best teams in the finals, and it looks like we're going to get the 1 seed versus either the 2 or the 3. And then the 3 and the 4 are going to go to the 3rd place match. And that's, that's textbook, right? That's what you want to see. That means we've got the best here. It means we've got the right players on the field. It means we've got the right teams to see the best games for the night. And that's what I like to see when I'm casting. We like to see good games. We saw 2 good games tonight. I look forward to 2 good finals matches in both tiers 6 and 7, and the rest of the tiers, of course, as well. But these 2 games tonight, really nice job. Congrats to the winners, and good luck to everybody in the future seasons. You want to shout out LOS Champs signups again?
Well, before we wrap up the stream for the night, we actually do have an interview. We are going to be bringing Tony into the booth. So we have Tony from the LatinSeven Crimson squad. And Tony, congratulations on that win. You guys played really, really well. But going into those final moments there of regulation of game number 5, what were you guys feeling? Because that was coming down to the wire. It could have gone either way because both sides had really good plays. What was going on in either your comms or your guys' heads there leading up to that overtime?
It definitely, it was very, very close. Shout out to the other team over there in Old Flight. They grind so hard. They grind almost as hard as anyone else that I know. 2 very good mechanical players. I love playing both of them. So me and Phoenix, we talk a lot during the game. Not like just about random stuff, but like after each goal that we get scored on, we're all like, okay, what happened there? What can we do to fix it, right? Because you can't really dwell too much on it. You just got to try to fix it, keep going on for the rest of the match.
Absolutely.
Because if you let that mental start getting down, then the entire game's just not going to go your way.
All right, Sapowski, do you have any questions for Tony?
I want to know what their plan is going forward. You got a finals match coming up. You've got 2 good teams. You've got 2 good teams, I say, to choose from, but you don't get to pick, right? You've got 2 good teams to choose from. What's your plan going forward? What's your mentality? What's your thought process? What's your approach?
Yeah, so I believe both of these teams we've played before. Magician's Alliance is really good. RCG Venomous Strike is also super, super good. RCG we've scrimmed before. We actually played them week 1. We ended up taking that 3-1 in Swiss, I believe. Magician's Alliance is the only team that actually picked up a series against us during Swiss. And so they're not a team to scoff at. They're super, super good. We've been saving replays. We're gonna go over them, just try to break down how they play. I know some of the RCG people are watching the stream tonight. Shout out to you guys. both of these teams are super, super good. We're just going to go over replays, figure out how they play, see how we can counter it. Honestly, if we just play the way that we've been playing, Phoenix is so gifted on the ball. He's so good mechanically. He's super, super good on the ground. And so I've been telling him I'll just take that more support role, going for more passes to him, seeing if I can try to starve them, just try to get some more of those demos in. And yeah, I mean, honestly, if we just play the way that we've been playing, I think we got it next week.
Well played. Congrats.
Yeah, you guys had a phenomenal series. One thing I just want to say before we have you head on out, the physical play, I love seeing it. So kudos to you. Keep it up. It was great to see some demos and bumps coming out there. But before we send you on out to prep for next week and celebrate your victory here tonight, is there anybody you would like to shout out or thank?
Oh, everybody at LatinSeven, you already know. I appreciate all of you. Sonic Cret was such an amazing person. Not only is he a player, he's also the owner. He's our graphic designer. He's our social media manager. That guy works so much for LatinSeven. It's not even funny. I appreciate the heck out of you. Everyone that came out to support us tonight, I appreciate you. And I can't forget my boy Ron. We had that Ron energy, as LatinSeven calls it, throughout that entire game. And yeah, I just appreciate everyone coming out and watching, everyone that watches us. And yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us up here for a quick interview in the booth, Tony, and congratulations on your win for tonight. And good luck next week in the finals.
Appreciate it, man. I hope to see you guys casting next week.
We'll have to wait and see.
Well, I won't be. I'll be on vacation next week. But shout out to LOS
dang.
Champs. Shout out to Cookies for having me. Shout out to all the guys running a really nice league here at LOS Champs. So keep it up. If you want to support them, remember you can check out the Discord. You can check out the Enthusiast role for just a couple of bucks a month. And you can support LOS Champs in all of their efforts to create these fun recreational leagues that we all like to play and cast for. Thanks everybody for listening. Sparky, really nice spending some time with you, man.
Yeah, it was great being in the booth with you. And just a reminder, if you guys are interested in joining the LOS Champs, or if you haven't signed up yet, Season 2 will be starting in just under a month. Registration for Season 2 wraps up July 9th. The season begins the week of July 17th, so you have a little bit of time left remaining to get signed up for that. Go find yourself some teammates. You can sign up for 2s, you can sign up for 3s in Europe, East, or West, and then you can also do 1v1 East, as well as for a limited time mode, you can do 3v3 Rumble on the East circuit. So make sure you come join us. 6 weeks of regular season play, and then you get into the single elimination playoffs. So if you haven't already signed up, make sure you do that. Link should be in the chat, but you can also join the Discord, as Posca said, to see all that information. So want to thank again League OS for powering the LOS Champs. They help run everything with the website as well as our overlays. Huge shout out to them. None of this would be possible without League OS. But again, want to thank you, Posca, for joining me here in the booth tonight. It's been a blast being able to call with you. Thank you to our producer, Cookies. As much crap as we might give him, he does a phenomenal job behind the screen. And thank you to all of you guys for tuning in. My name's been Sparky, and join us next Tuesday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for our finals matches, the final week of Season 1. Have a great night, guys.
Peace.